Rodney Alcala, born Rodrigo Jacques Alcala Bucor in San Antonio, Texas, in 1943, entered a world already shadowed by darkness. His early life was a turbulent mix of abandonment and instability. His father left the family when Alcala was young, leaving a void that would fester. At the age of 12, Alcala and his mother moved to Los Angeles. It was a pivotal moment, marking his introduction to the sprawling city that would later become his hunting ground. His teenage years were marked by trouble. He dropped out of school and joined the army, a brief and unsuccessful stint. A pivotal moment came in 1968. Alcala, discharged from the army due to mental health issues, committed his first known crime. He kidnapped and brutally attacked 8-year-old Tali Shapiro in Los Angeles. The young girl, left for dead, miraculously survived. Alcala, however, had tasted the first fruits of his dark desires. This first act of violence marked the beginning of a chilling criminal career. Alcala, having evaded justice for the attack on Tali, was now free to refine his methods and continue his descent into depravity. After Tali Shapiro, the body count began to rise. Young women, often aspiring models or photographers, crossed paths with Alcala, enticed by his charm and promises of opportunity. He presented himself as a professional photographer, luring them into his web of deceit. These encounters, however, always ended in the same horrific way. Alcala would overpower his victims, subjecting them to unimaginable torture and abuse before ultimately taking their lives. He often posed his victims after death, creating gruesome tableaux that reflected his twisted psyche. The full extent of Alcala's crimes remained hidden for years. He moved with a chilling fluidity, drifting between states and assuming different identities. This chameleon-like ability to disappear made him a phantom, his true nature masked by an outwardly charming persona. It was a time of fear and uncertainty, as young women continued to disappear without a trace. Little did anyone know that a monster walked among them, hiding in plain sight. Rodney Alcala's crimes were not simply acts of violence. They were meticulously orchestrated performances of depravity. He took pleasure in the suffering of his victims, prolonging their agony as a form of entertainment. His modus operandi, chilling in its consistency, revealed the depths of his sadism. Alcala often used his supposed profession as a photographer to lure his victims. He would approach attractive young women, promising them modeling gigs or portfolio shoots. This ruse, disarmingly believable, granted him access to their trust and ultimately their vulnerability. Once alone with his victims, Alcala's true nature would surface. He would restrain them, often using ligatures, and subject them to hours, sometimes days, of torture. Sexual assault was a constant, a brutal assertion of power and control. Alcala's cruelty knew no bounds. He toyed with his victims' lives, strangling them until they lost consciousness, only to revive them and repeat the horrifying cycle. This perverse game, played out until their final breath, was a testament to his complete lack of empathy and insatiable thirst for suffering.